I'm going to start with you, Scott, because I want to extend the courtesy of having you awake at 12 at night because he's joining us from Australia. So thank you so much for doing this for us. But firstly, answer that question. I know I've spoken to you earlier and you've often, refused to compare players of different generations, but I'm going to put you on the spot. Tell me, who's number one if you were to compare Lionel Messi, Diego Maradona and Pele?
Yeah, mate, I can't give you that answer because as I said to you before, I'm not going to change my mind. But it's good to be back talking to you again, Nikhil. I just think they played in different eras. All three of them were great players, and I don't see a need to be able to identify one as being better than the other. What I will say is that Messi and Ronaldo, for example, have been more protected than Pele and Maradona ever were. So they got a lot more protection, Messi and Ronaldo, than the likes of Pele and Maradona. And also, I saw the stats before that you put on the screen, and I understand that Messi is scored a lot more goals, and Pele's won more World Cups. But it also depends. Football's a team game, right? So you're only as good as the players around you. So while Pele won 3 World Cups, and that's a great achievement, maybe the teams he were playing in was better than the teams that Maradona was playing in. So I just think football being a team game, I think it's really hard to. Those statistics, they're interesting, and I know from your point of view and journalist point of view that it's good because you're stimulating debate, and debate's a great thing to have. But I think statistics in a team game make it very difficult for individuals. They have to rely on the players around them, and I just think it's challenging, and that's why I'm not going to tell you who I think's the best player of all. Okay. You haven't told me in as many words, but if I was to read between the lines, one very important thing that Scott mentions there, that Pele and Maradona weren't protected as much as Lionel Messi is. By that he means, in terms of refereeing standards, there were a lot of fouls that the referees allowed at that time when Maradona and Pele were playing. Not quite now when Lionel Messi is playing. Every little touch and you get the foul, and that's the advantage that Lionel Messi has. Okay, Scott, would you be kind enough to me, not as hard as Scott, because you're on my side of the fence, the journalistic side, the anchor side, and so not as a former player. Are you going to pick the best player ever of all time for me?
Me? Yes. It's not a debate. The debate's over. And I want Scott to come off the fence and name the player. It's Leo Messi for me. Absolutely no doubt, no debate whatsoever. And I don't care what your parameters are, but you know what? Facts and figures, like we heard just a few moments ago, they say it all. More goals, more World Cup goals. You look at championships, Diego Maradona, the European championships, doesn't compare. Pele never even moved to Europe. And Europe in the 70s was a powerhouse of clubs. So no comparison whatsoever, in my opinion. Leo Messi. Last week, Nikhil, there was a debate. Today, no debate. Can I go home now?
No, you can't, because I have a lot more questions for you. On the point that Joe was also talking about, because you mentioned all the trophies, and you said that maybe last week it was a debate, not quite, because he's another trophy he's got in his cabinet, and that's the FIFA World Cup. But the point that Scott made, that sometimes it's dictated by the teams that you're playing in, and not so much because of individual brilliance. Let me take the example of Erling Haaland at the moment. He's outstanding. Maybe he goes on to become one of the greatest players ever, but he plays for Norway, so no chance there, I think, of him lifting a FIFA World Cup or a team trophy. Does that then diminish his achievement? And in that sense, if you were to rate Messi as the greatest, let it not be based on the trophies, just the kind of football, and I'm sure you saw the likes of Diego Maradona playing, just the kind of impact that he has on the pitch. On that parameter as well, are you going to put him number one?
Absolutely, still, because the two things that I look at, and we talked about the facts just a few moments ago, I also look at longevity. It's consistently performing over a period of time. Now, Erling Haaland, without doubt, one of the best strikers in the world right now, if not the best striker in the world. I'd put him alongside Mbappe. However, has he done it for a decade or more? So you can't compare. Kylian Mbappe, everyone's talking about him. Now, Kylian Mbappe, yes, he's won a World Cup. Yes, he scored a hat-trick in a final of a World Cup, which is no mean feat. But has he done it for a decade or more? And that's, and you added the other thing in there. Everyone loves the romance of Diego Maradona's story. They love that. But go and look at the pictures that we've witnessed over the last month of the fan parks in places in far corners of India, Kerala, for example, in Bangladesh. Messi shirts, Messi cutouts, huge Messi cutouts that are 10 meters high, posted around the country. He's inspired emotion as well. So just tell me what your parameters are, because Messi wins it in every single category, bar none.